Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our local emergency management committee meeting, our third for the year, I believe. Our last one was held on Monday, the 14th of April. By legislation has to have 4 per year, I think it is. Anyway, to start off with, let's go around the table and start by introducing ourselves, our name and our capacity of who we're representing. Who wants to go first? Phil?
Oh,
yeah.
Going through the
forms.
Phil Pickering,
representing Bush Fire Brigade. Yep.
Richard St John's Ambulance.
Yep.
Rob Bowes, local care crisis coordinator.
Yep. Robert Trapp, Shire President.
Tanisha Vatako, Shire CEO.
Evan Johnson, DFS Area Officer for Wheatbelt.
Shelby Robinson, District Emergency Management Advisor for the Wheatbelt.
Sonia King, Operations Manager for Dowerin Machinery Field Test.
And remotely, we've got Michael, is it? You there, Michael? I presume you can hear us. Michael Phillips of Department of Communities. Thanks. And do we know if we've got any apologies from any other agencies? Yep, copy that. And Solomon Wiley from the Shire of Dowerin. Captured all those, great. And Barb Garner from Dowerin High School, I presume. And Lisa's not.
Yeah, so she's under.
This was last minutes from last meeting. Okay, so moving on, the first item of business is to confirm the minutes of our previous meeting held on the 14th of April. The recommendation number 2, that the minutes of the local emergency management committee meeting held on the 14th of April as presented in attachment 2.1a be confirmed as a true and correct record of proceeding. I trust you've all had a chance to read that. It was, I think from memory, to go through the LEMA and make sure it was all updated in readiness for council to approve it. Anybody got any comments on those minutes? In addition, no. Who wants to move that was a true and correct record? Okay, that's Phil. And seconder, Rob Bowes. All those in favour? Take it that's unanimous. Carried. Now, business arising from the previous minutes. Don't believe there was any. Does anyone have anything that they wish to bring up? No. Okay, moving on to standing items. We'll start off with the agency updates, the Shire of Dowerin to commence. Manisha, have you got anything?
Sure, through the chair. Just an update that Shire of Dowerin is planning to undertake the emergency drills during the 25-26 financial year, with scheduling to be confirmed, and the updated local emergency management arrangements were formally endorsed by council in our May council meeting on 25th of May and subsequently tabled at the district on 18th of June 2025. And in support of strengthening the local emergency management capability, several Shire staff completed the Emergency Management Foundations for Local Government training course on 12th of May 2025. On a side note, I'm also exploring an opportunity for a joint application for a season with the Shire of Walcatcham. We have an acting CEO there, so we are working together if we can go for a joint application for a new season.
Right.
Thank you.
And do we have, I noted in the previous minutes, we were talking about application through Neuroc for generators.
Yes.
Is there any progress on that?
So the application was submitted, but we are yet to hear back.
Okay.
The disaster already fund?
Yes.
Yeah. That will probably take, you won't hear it anytime soon because it's Commonwealth money. So it's got to go through a range of state approvals and then got to go through a kind of competitive Commonwealth thing. So hopefully by the end of the year, but it'll take a little while.
Thanks for that. Okay, the next on the list is Dowerin Bush Fire Brigade, which is
Generator pads being put in. We just got to organise the electrician,
hook it up.
hook it up, so that we can have it available when needed. I don't know when Paul's going to organise that.
How many kVA was that by interest?
That's, well, I think it's 7. I'm not sure.
The only function really was to wind up and down the door.
Yeah, well, I've got a little 3 kVA that's plugged in and
Yeah.
does that.
Yep.
Personally needed to be able to run the whole station during an event during summer.
Yep.
Which means air conditioners and all the rest of it. We'll see. Once we kick it in the gear, we're going to turn it all on.
Yep.
Go from there.
Just make sure you don't get the wires muddled up like happened to the club that time. Yep.
But we're going to work it out.
All right, next on the list, Dowerin CRC, however, we're an apology, so anything to update from them at all? No? No. Moving on, St John's Ambulance.
Yeah, everything's been ticking along pretty well up there. Got 12 vendors still, which is good. A couple of new ones. We just received a grant from Bravo Bank. That was purchased some more equipment, so just invested in some new solution splints. We need 7 of those, and there's about $800 each.
Now, from memory, we had a ceremony to cut the ribbon on the new ambulance back in April, I think, or so.
Yep.
How's that going?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So it's all on road now.
Yep.
It's up to scratch.
So, was that a replacement or was that?
Replacement,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know much else to report.
No events to report. Lost tourists or anything like that?
No, none of that.
All right. Moving on. DFES. Yep. Welcome to Evan, our new area manager for the Wheatbelt district, I presume it's called, or Wheatbelt area.
Wheatbelt. So I jumped in the seat about 2 weeks ago, so it's good to meet all of you. I think I'm about the 5th or 6th AO. It's been in the seat over the last 2 years, so there has been a bit of turnover there. I'm here until at least the start of November, with the possibility that'll extend through the summer as well. Nothing really significant to report from an operational perspective. The one thing I will touch on will just be we've got an August and early September focus month for local government training. So we do have, I believe, early September, some radio training being run here in Dowerin. We've got a couple other courses running in adjacent towns, I think Gamalling in a week or 2 and the like. So if there are any courses in particular, or if you haven't received those details as yet, I can circulate them to the local brigades, etc. But yeah, reach out if there's any requests that you've got so that we can try and jump on that before we get close to harvest.
Just from me, the AWARE funding is open at the moment. That closes the first week of August. So that's funding from $3,500 to $35,000. I believe there's a 25% co-contribution that local governments have to front, but that can be from anything for small scale kind of community preparedness activities through to, your larger things. So there's that open at the moment. Our LEMC annual reports are due to myself to send to the SEMC by the end of the month. If there's any assistance needed in compiling that, please let me know. The Wheatbelt DEMC is currently planning a Wheatbelt Emergency Management Forum, which will double as a bit of a pre-season forum for the 1st and 2nd of September. That will be in Bruce Rock. Invites to CEOs have gone out. Yeah, cool. So that should be good. That's only very initial planning stages, but that should be good. And the next emergency management webinar is on the disaster recovery funding arrangements, which is a really good opportunity for local governments in particular to, I guess, raise awareness of the difficulties around that funding scheme. I'm not sure if Darren's ever done anything with that funding scheme before, but it's Commonwealth money. State administered, which makes it difficult to begin with, but the evidence requirements of damage to things like roads or any local government infrastructure you want to claim back, you have to have really meticulous pre-disaster evidence in terms of photos and just a really range of complex data. So we're getting that team on to talk to both the Wheatbelt and the Goldfields region about what evidence requirements look like, some tips and tricks they've got, but it's also a really good opportunity for local government to tell the team directly how inaccessible that funding is sometimes. So I will be in help to that. I will be sending out the webinar shortly, along with a link to submit any questions you want to ask of the team directly. Otherwise, as always, there will be a Q&A section, but I do really encourage, if you were going to come to one webinar, it would be that one. I really do encourage it, especially ahead of the season.
Thanks, Shelby. That's a good point, because I think, 3 years ago, Shire of Dowerin had a flood event, and we had difficulty in acquitting the claims because we didn't have some of the pre-photos. It was sort of, yeah, so it's quite important to make sure we.
They're a really good one to demonstrate that emergency management sits across a range of different local government positions as well, not just one. Like your buildings and assets people are really important in the type of evidence you collect for this. So
there's a note here from the previous minutes. There will be a storm preparedness webinar in June. How did that go?
That one happened. So this is part of a monthly emergency management webinar series that the DEMCs put on. All those recordings, so and the presentation materials are saved to a Google Drive, and I can make sure the link is in the minutes, but that's open and accessible to anyone. We had land search and rescue last month just gone as well, so that was another interesting topic.
Yep.
Bit topical, but
Were you involved in a recent one?
I wasn't, but Evan almost was. So.
Yeah, I was driving out to Mucka at the time that they found her. So I had the Mucka LMC last week, and there was some very interesting discussions around that. Some feedback from the local government and local emergency services units was that there wasn't much information flow coming from Wapol down, and the explanation that Wapol gave was that it was largely because homicide squad got involved. They initially had thoughts that is where the outcome was going to go. Once that happened, not a whole lot of information got out. So, yeah, very lucky result in the end. But yeah, we were heading out with around 60 or so SES personnel to do a search around her vehicle when she was found 30 or 40 k's from the vehicle. So we wouldn't have found anything.
And that maybe is a segue into an advertising campaign for tourists in particular. If you're going to go out back, at least carry an iPhone or something that can actually communicate with Starlink. The modern iPhones 14 upwards can. Something
with satellite connection, or even we encourage EPIRBs and things like that if you go on proper remote, especially up those sort of neck of the woods. It was interesting. It's something to be aware of as an LG. When that search was sort of about to commence, there was a fair bit of gear coming out of the Perth metropolitan area, just being trucked up, accommodation, things like that, to have 60 people essentially stay in town. So there was a lot of engagement between Wapol, DFS and the LG actually about where to position all that, all those caches and things like that. So I think you guys probably have less of a problem here, a bit more set up than somewhere like Muckenberg in terms of space, but yeah, if someone goes missing this neck of the woods, we might come and crash.
She was found just west of Bimbidgee Station, and she thought she was heading west, going by the sun. She actually was heading northwest, which is, I don't know if it's southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere thing, but anyway, we get sidetracked. Rightio, I've jumped over. Yes. Oh,
Oh no, that's all right. I was just going to say it is potentially something that as a new rock or as part of the Wilder Zone you want to look at raising around like the wheat belt trails and all those kind of advertisements, whether there's ability to build something into them that say these are remote, isolated places. Please be prepared when you're traveling, that sort of thing, because they do seem to be happening quite often around the wheat belt in particular at the moment. It's hard when they're not local people, they're out of region. It can be a bit difficult on how you actually target those. But
it's quite fortunate it was this time of year, because had it been in the middle of summer, it might have been a completely different outcome. Yeah. All right. DC, which Michael, can you hear us? Your microphone's muted, Michael, unless we're.
Is that any better?
Doesn't look
That's better. Yep.
Excellent. Happy with that. Sorry about that. Thank you. In terms of Department of Communities, it's been relatively quiet, I suppose, for the last couple of weeks, or probably about a month. But it did end a pretty busy high threat bush season. We had 16 activations literally all around the state. Of those 16, 6 of them were in the wheat belt. So it was, as usual, wheat belt have the most amount, unfortunately, of evacuation centres that do get opened. So obviously that's a lot of money, a lot of manpower, all that sort of stuff. But it's obviously it's a good result for the people that are impacted. I think we were talking last time about the Meriden trailer hopefully getting up there so we can have the emergency relief and support stuff a little bit quicker. And that is now there in Meriden waiting to be used. But really, apart from that, there isn't a huge amount of updates from Department of Communities. It might be more of a general business type of a thing, but just if we could get that LERSP that I sent through, gee whiz, it was probably about in April now. If we could get that acknowledged and added as an addendum to the LEMA, that'd be super.
Thanks, Michael. I think we got that as a late attachment.
Cool.
Kiara, didn't we? No? Okay. All right. I'll follow up on that.
Oh no, it was back in April. So look, it's no
Yeah.
problem. It's not not a big thing.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Okay. So Rob, CC is crisis care.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to repair. I've just got to try and keep up to date with what buildings we're going to use and the first actions.
Yep. Thanks. Okay, so the only one left, I believe, is Dowerin Events Management. Yep.
To the busy period. Bumping will start. So the event's obviously on 27th and 28th of August. Bumping will start on 7th of August. So we'll have site shut down and open to exhibitors to start setting up. We increase traffic, obviously. We'll have also the ovals will be bumping in from the 22nd of August. That's the hockey. And then event days, 27, 28, we'll have essential and self-services on site. Well, so during bumping, our office is at the first aid post, and that changes to event days with reaching services personnel on site. Is there anything else?
No, that's fine. I do recall as one of the items of the last meeting that I brought up that I think we actually have to have an exercise once per year.
Yes, that's
And
right.
is it in?
So that's what to get it done. Yeah.
Yep. And I think we're planning to undertake emergency drills, but one of the suggestions was a field days emergency. So it'll be a surprise, will it? Okay, test our readiness. So be prepared.
Sorry, what's the expected attendance?
Hopefully at least 17,000, so over the 2 days. peak attendance is between 8 and 10, and they'll be on Wednesday.
Depending on the weather, and the weather god's been kind, it's not going to rain. It always does rain though, a couple of showers or two. Yeah.
Just a thought on the field days.
Yep.
One of the main buildings we can use for crisis care is the club, and of course that'll be out of action over the field day. So that leaves basically the town hall. And is that used over the field day?
No, so with the town hall, it's actually in our state, in the state records, the town hall is currently listed as well as an emergency site, and as well as the community club. So this we found out last year after my commencement, that we knew that community club was our emergency space to go if they're in the event of any big incident. But we then figured out that as per the state records, actually it's the town hall. So we are in the process of actually getting the community club as a recorded, registered emergency evacuation space. But at the moment, if you talk from a theory perspective, it is actually the town hall.
Okay. And I know the St John Centre's listed as well as a gather it's a backup.
During field days, we have full access to actually go to, like, staff are available to have the access if need be, if there is a situation. So, hope it can cause any drama to open the town hall if should there be a situation.
Rightio, so that concludes agency reports. Item 4.2, contact and resources register update. I do remember it when we reviewed the LEMA at the last meeting, local emergency management arrangements. There were 4 items that needed to be updated. They confirmed done. Yep, good. And just to say, if anyone else has reviewed them since and there's any other phone number changes or minor details, please forward them to our manager of governance. Not governance, sorry.
Compliance officer.
Compliance, yeah.
2 actually.
Yep.
Right, there's the Reed Centre over here. Centre in Bassfield is no longer there. So there's an update of name and a phone number property for that. And also the high school's got a different number on in the evac guide. High school's new number is 9631 4400. They've actually had that for 2 years now.
Thanks, Phil. That's why we have a cast of many eyes to look at it. That's good. Anybody got any other updates? No?
Give my details through.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to general business. Anybody got any items? Michael, you said there was the item you brought up, you said could go under general business, but you brought it up at the time anyway, so that's fine. Anybody else got anything? No?
Is there an intention to look at the AWARE funding and a grant there? Just wonder if that's worth a discussion.
I have to double check. Nothing has come up so far because we're just filing the budget. But if anything needs to happen, it needs to happen now because we target to adopt the budget in mid-August.
And I'm pretty sure AWARE closes the first week of August as well.
Yes.
That's a good cracking.
So I guess just wanted to throw it out for discussion if there was any. As I say, they can be grants of, as small as 3,500. So if there were any communication pieces or anything like that.
I will double check with Carly, our manager governance, as well as the CRC, because sometimes a lot of community development type activities are done through them. Yeah. I'll double check with them. Thank you.
if there's any assistance needed, I know it's a really short time frame for that grant. So if you need help writing the application or anything, just reach out and I can help.
Sure.
75% free. So,
Yeah.
alrighty. Well, I can't think of anything else for general business. So moving on, future meeting date to be confirmed. Well, we've had 3 meetings and we're already just over halfway through the year. So potentially November in that time frame. Yep. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was the final one. So unless anyone's got anything else to bring up, Michael, go.
Sorry thank you. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Can I just confirm on the Lima that we do have the club listed as an evacuation centre? Did I hear that correctly?
So on the Lima, yes,
Okay.
but on
all
the
right.
state records, no.
Yeah. Okay. No, that interesting because. Sorry, you go. Yeah.
So in order to be registered properly, it needs to go through an audit, which is scheduled for this year. So once the audit is confirmed, we will have the community club as well as the town hall in the main state records.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's cool. I think it would have a private lease, I suppose, like the people who manage that club. Is that right or not right?
So the community club leases our building and currently runs it as a club, like, kitchen and bar. But whenever in the MOU itself, there is this component, they are aware that it is treated as an evacuation space. So in the event of something happens, they will then have to cease their business and we can, take it over.
Excellent. That's excellent
if need be. But usually, in an evacuation space, usually in a lot of places, the club, the kitchen can carry on, but only it depends on situation. If it is something like a bushfire happened and 50 odd people are there, they might need food and drink, which can be served by the community club. But had it been a very big disaster that nothing can be running off, or the community club itself is busy or something has happened, we do have that understanding with the club that they will follow the protocols of the Shire, whatever is required at the time.
Yeah, interesting. It might be something that we probably best to discuss us maybe offline, because I think when we kind of are activated from the incident control or the HMA, I've got a feeling that we take over like the entire centre, like wherever that may be. So yeah, that could lead to some issues. So I need to double check. I've never actually had that particularly event happen, so I'd have to, I guess, find out. But maybe it's better off if we have a discussion offline, I suppose. That's an interesting one.
Sure, I think that will be good. Yeah, I had a similar experience in one of the evacuation centre in another local government, and well, I mean, it went okay, but yeah, had it been more communication, it would have been a bit better.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
definitely on board.
Oh, great. Yeah,
Be
let's
a
do
great
that.
exercise topic as well. Have the need for an evac centre be opening in the middle of an event that's already happening
Yeah,
at
where
the
do we
club.
go?
What does that actually look like?
Yeah, fair point.
If
Yeah.
you're on another idea of an exercise.
The reason I brought it up, Michael, was if an event happened at the field day, the club might be out of bounds anyway.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
why I
right.
asked it
No, fair.
at
Yeah.
town hall.
Or sit on the club committee, and I don't think that'd be a problem at all, because that comes up, the club's shut. Simple as that. Like, you guys in the Shire get full access. Everything will just shut down and you'll take over.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah,
proceed, how you go.
I think we're all very accommodating, and as long as there's clear communication and a chain of command and everyone is quite clear what their responsibilities are, it should be all dory. But
Yeah,
let's
I
test
agree.
it out.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. All righty. I'll just add one final point. I always like to think in a situation, a forum like this, what are the unknowns that are waiting there to bite us in the bum? And I'll throw it out there. In the last 3 months, we've almost had World War III happen, and the Straits of Hormuz look like they could have been shut off, and just put it out there that if that were the case, Australia only has about 40 days of diesel. So how would we fare if we started running out of diesel in this country, and just think what we might do. So I'll just put that out there.
It's
All
interesting.
right. I declare the meeting closed at 2:30. Thanks everyone for your attendance.